Hello and welcome to the MyW Sports Women's Football Alliance Championship Preview. I'll be your host, Kyle Wescott. We're going to run down all of the WFA Championship games, Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3, all happening this weekend in Pittsburgh. Starting off in Tier 3, we have the Acadiana Zydeco taking on the Richmond Black Widows. Acadiana is in this championship without having to play a semifinal matchup, but their regular season schedule was a pretty light one. A couple of losses to the Arlington Impact, where they allowed Arlington to score 32 and 34 points respectively. In their wins, they held opponents below 20 points in every game, but the strength of schedule here could be an issue for Acadiana. The Richmond Black Widows, however, play in the Colonial Division, which is the toughest division in the WFA, and had to take on the DC Divas, had to take on the Philadelphia Phantoms. But outside of those games, their schedule is pretty weak too. So the same argument could be made for Richmond that was made for Acadiana. In this game, I really feel that as long as Acadiana can keep their offense going, Richmond really struggled in their semifinal matchup against the Keystone Assault to score, and they did end up winning 14-8, but it was a close contest. Richmond needs to be able to score to win this game, and I don't know in their games against tough teams like DC and against Philadelphia if they really prove that they can do that. So in this one, I'm going to take Acadiana with a score of 26-14. It's going to be relatively low scoring because I think Richmond's defense is good enough to keep them in the game, but maybe not enough offense at least to win this game. We'll talk about Tier 2. Tier 2 features the St. Louis Slam taking on the Tampa Bay Inferno. St. Louis has one of the smallest schedules in the WFA, finishing the regular season at just 4-2. However, they did play the Kansas City Titans twice, which is a Tier 1 opponent, and the Chicago Force. St. Louis has had a very good end of regular season and has had two very solid wins in the playoffs to get them to this point. Tampa Bay finished the regular season undefeated. Although in their division, a very weak division, that undefeated looked like it could have been questioned. However, with a big win over the Alabama Fire and then a big win over the Philadelphia Phantoms, I believe that the Inferno are ready to win this game. Right now, I would put this at a Tampa Bay win at 36-20. I just think Tampa Bay's offense has been very good in the playoffs, and I don't know that St. Louis can keep up with the offense of the Inferno.
They got the first down, and they're going to be the 2015 national champions in the Women's Football Alliance, clinching their first title in this league. It's been a long time for the DC Divas.
Finally, Tier 1, what is now being known as W Bowl, between the DC Divas and the Dallas Elite. This is a rematch of the 2015 national championship when the DC Divas beat the Dallas Elite 30-26. We also saw a rematch in 2016 when Dallas headed up to DC and beat the Divas 40-19. The Divas have rolled since then, though, and remained undefeated since that game, including a good win in Boston in the final 17 seconds and in Chicago in the final 10 seconds. DC has also looked good in the playoffs, knocking off the Boston Renegades last week 47-21. Dallas Elite looks primed and ready to win their first national championship. Learning off of what they lost last year in the national championship against the Divas, they've come back on fire this year, winning every game so far this year and scoring more than 60 points in 7 of those 10 games. Dallas was tested a little bit with the Central Cal War Angels in the conference finals, but did prevail in that game in a much closer game than they've seen all season. If Dallas can get an early lead, they could win this game. The Divas are going to have to play great defense, and they're going to have to make this a shootout like they've seen all year, and they're going to have to win a close one at the end, just like they did last year. Right now, I'm giving the edge to Dallas, though. It's going to be a squeaker. I'm calling 34-32. It's going to come down to a possible 2-point conversion made or not made at the end of this game. So remember, if you can't make it to Pittsburgh this weekend to see these great matchups, you can still see them streaming live online. The Tier 2 and Tier 3 matchups are on GoLiveSportscast.com. The Tier 1 matchup will be on ESPN3.com. If you go to the WFAFootball.net website, you can see all the information on the W Bowl and where to find these websites to be able to see these streaming live. You can also follow MyW Sports Twitter for live updates, as well as check MyW Sports for game recaps after these great championship games. Don't miss any of the action. And thank you for watching the MyW Sports WFA Championship Preview.